afternoon, everyone. A Guten Chodesh. It is Tuesday, February 1st. It's the last day of Shvat. Tomorrow will be the first day of Adar, and we have a developing storm system. Before we talk about the storm system, I just want to mention one little thing. The GFS computer model has one of those North Pacific bombs, those low pressure systems developing into a 27.9 barometric pressure. It's just mind-boggling. I don't know, maybe that stuff goes on over there. 27.9, it's just, you see these things spinning one after the other. You look on these computer models, you look on the weather map, and it's just like, how is it happening? What causes these systems to develop such deep low pressure? These are not hurricanes. What's producing all this? What does it? It's always around there. There's like 1, 2, or 3 of them just spinning and dancing around each other right there in the middle of the ocean up in the North Pacific. Okay, let's get back over here in the Midwest. We have a strong storm system, a low pressure system of 29.3 over in southern Canada, just to the north of northern Minnesota earlier today. That's going to continue moving northeast over to the Hudson Bay, and it's going to intensify to 29.2. To give you an idea of how strong a 29.2 low pressure system is, one of the major forecasters for AccuWeather said that in regards to the East Coast, if you want to know whether a snowstorm is going to produce a foot of snow or more, if it has a barometric pressure of 29.2, you could expect a foot. Okay, let's get back into Canada. That system, I don't know if it has moisture with it or not, but it's a strong storm system, and it has a strong cold front associated with it. Now, we're going to come almost nowhere really near the storm system, but the south winds ahead of the low pressure system are affecting us today. In fact, the Chicago area, parts of the Chicago area went well above what forecasted temperatures were expected to be. Temperatures hit 50 degrees in parts of the Chicago area today. 50 degrees. Can you believe that? My car thermometer right now says 47 degrees. Earlier today, temperature hit 50 degrees. These are the south winds ahead of this low pressure system. As it moves over to the Hudson Bay, it drags a cold front. It's a strong cold front, and it has powerful Arctic high pressure. I estimated it to be 31.0 inches in mercury, but that sounds so strong. It must be 30.9. Let's put it at 30.9. But this has been a well-advertised high pressure system even at the end of last week already. Last Thursday, we were talking about how this Arctic high is going to be colliding with Gulf moistures. The gates to the Gulf open up. At least that's what it showed on last week's weather map. Today, we see that all of that moisture is riding a conveyor belt, basically. It's going to be flowing right along that front, which is separating the warm air from the really cold air, the Arctic air. It's a strong front, and it's going to become stationary as if it's the summertime. This is the type of stuff, it happens every now and then in the winter, but this is the type of stuff we see in the summertime. We get a cold front that gets dragged down from some storm system in Canada, and it stalls usually just to the north of St. Louis. This one's going to be stalling to the south of St. Louis. Well to the south, it becomes stationary, and waves of low pressure move up along the front. 2 main waves in particular. There is no real intense low pressure system with this. So if you're looking for that 29.2, if that's going to be their criteria, whether we're going to forecast a foot of snow or not, we're not going to have it. We don't have an intense low pressure of 29.2. That means one of the major 3 ingredients is low quality. It's low quality. But to make up for that, we have super high quality of the other 2 ingredients. Copious amounts of Gulf moisture. We're talking about really major stuff. 2 inches of rain equivalent for the St. Louis, Missouri area. That might be really the peak over there, and any area on the northeast line, St. Louis, Springfield, Illinois, going up into Indiana. And this storm is as complex can possibly be in terms of trying to forecast what the accumulations are for many, many cities. An enormous impact on this country, going all the way from the Colorado Rockies into even Albuquerque, New Mexico, into Texas, even the El Paso, parts of the metropolitan area of El Paso. We even have Dallas, Texas, possible ice storm. As meteorologists try to figure out, is this freezing rain? Is it going to be sleet? Is it going to be snow? Is it going to be rain? That's one major complication. The other complication is the fact that it's coming in two waves, and each wave is taking a different track than the other one. So although there will be a couple counties that will be in the bullseye for both waves, each wave 6 to 12 inches of snow. So those cities that are in the bullseye for both waves will be getting 12 to 24 inches. So these are two major snows coming within a day. It's kind of part of the same system. In a certain way, it's two separate systems. Each one 6 to 12 inches. So some cities getting 12 to 24. The second wave coming Wednesday night and Thursday is starting to take a storm track a little bit further south than what was originally forecasted. That might even go further south still. We have to wait and see what happens with that one. But 6 to 12 inches for the first wave, I think, for the South Bend, Indiana area. And then we go in the second wave. I'm not exactly sure at this point if maybe the heaviest snow will be going further south than South Bend. I'm not quite sure. Maybe South Bend is in it. It's going to be probably close to the border over there. The Chicago area, we're in the bullseye of Sfekas. If you have to have the bullseye of this country, of the largest suffix in the country, it is the Chicago area. We're right in the bullseye. But nonetheless, the National Weather Service has decided to issue a winter storm warning, as if we have high confidence that we're going to be seeing a major snowfall. Because figure like this, all it takes is 6 inches, and you have two waves, each one the bullseye 6 to 12. The issue is that the second wave might actually completely miss Chicago. The second wave might completely miss Chicago. And let me explain to you why. Because the Arctic air that's coming down here is very dry Arctic air. And the snow, it actually might be snowing heavily in the upper atmosphere, but the snow will be evaporating. I think it's called sublimation. The snow will be evaporating before it touches the ground, to the point that there might not even be one snowflake in many areas, especially the north counties. I want to point out, however, there is a tendency sometimes for there to be lake effect snow, even heavy lake effect snow, as the storm departs. That's a possibility. If that happens, it would be later on Thursday. It's possible that snow, there may be inches from that might make up for the whole thing. Someone told me, let's leave the numbers out on that, but it's possible something might become of that. The National Weather Service is losing some confidence on the impact of that system. So we're going to call it, in Chicago again, this is the bullseye of Sfekas. I think South Bend is in the bullseye for the first one, possibly even the second, and we have Springfield, Illinois. They're probably going to get hit hard by both of them. St. Louis, Missouri, probably a solid 4 to 14 inches. It's hard to, it's very complex. I looked at 4 different computer models for South Bend. Whatever. Well, I'm not going to. They're within 3 inches of each other. Anyways, I wish everybody a Guten Chodesh. This is a unique storm. Usually we have one strong, intense low pressure system that moves across the Midwest, and everything is less complicated. I don't really think it's so predictable, the snowfall accumulations for Chicago, but we go with climatology. What Kankakee is predictable, and north of Chicago is predictable. So you put those two predictions together. South of Chicago, you're getting more than a foot. North of Chicago, an inch or nothing. So then you have to come up with something for Chicago. Chicago is going to be something in between. So it's not that anyone's able to forecast the weather for Chicago. It's that we're able to forecast the snowfall amounts for places south of Chicago and areas north of Chicago, but not for Chicago. But Chicago is going to have to, by process of elimination, we're going to have to end up with something in between. or probably. Okay, I wish everybody a wonderful day.